have escalated sharply between Pakistan and India since an attack last month killed more than 24 tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir. India blamed the attack on Pakistan and carried out strikes on several sites in Pakistan this week.
We have made the point very clearly that all attacks on the morning of 7th May were against carefully selected terrorist infrastructure, terrorist targets.
Pakistan flatly denies any involvement in the Kashmir attack. It says Indian strikes targeted civilian infrastructure, killing 31. It sees the Indian action as an act of war and has vowed to respond in kind.
We will not hit the civilian population, not at all. We'll refrain from that, but we'll definitely hit their military installations. Military installation, their bases, their forward positions on all the three control line, working boundary and international boundary.
International calls to de-escalate have been growing, with the US and China among those urging restraint.
We urge both sides to bear in mind the larger picture of peace and stability, uphold the UN Charter and other international law, remain calm, exercise restraint, and refrain from taking actions that may further complicate the situation.
We hope that India and Pakistan will prevent the escalation of tension in the region. Our region needs peace, especially to expand economic cooperation between regional countries, and we hope this will happen.
But the political rhetoric and military action shows that the international diplomatic push to contain the risk of all-out war between the two nuclear-armed neighbors has not yet succeeded.
Tonight, India and Pakistan are trading blows in an alarming clash between the nuclear-armed nations that could spiral into a new open war. It escalated dramatically overnight, with India carrying out military strikes against at least 9 it described as terrorist infrastructure in Pakistani territory, and releasing these new images of the operation. India said it's a response to a terrorist attack last month that killed 26 tourists in the Indian-controlled part of Kashmir. India quickly blamed Pakistan for the attack.
It was deemed essential that the perpetrators and planners of the 22nd April attack be brought to justice.
But the Pakistani denies involvement and says its civilians were killed by an unprovoked act of war by India. Pakistan claims to have shot down 5 Indian fighter jets while they were attacking. The core of the issue is, and has long been, the region of Kashmir, which is partitioned. Each side claims all of the disputed region for itself. Tonight, President Trump is calling for de-escalation.
I know both very well, and I want to see them work it out. I want to see them, and hopefully they can stop now. They've gone tit for tat, so hopefully they can stop now.
Pakistan's prime minister said tonight that India suffer consequences and promised that Pakistan would take, quote, corresponding action. Lester?
And Pakistan.
India launching a military operation targeting what it calls terrorist infrastructure inside Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir.
India and Pakistan have been exchanging a barrage of fire across the line of control.
So we've seen this major military escalation, and a lot of people are worried about where this could all go.
Because India and Pakistan are both nuclear-armed powers.
Why is all this happening now? Well, it's linked to an attack in Kashmir back in April. Remember, Kashmir is a disputed territory. India and Pakistan both administer parts of it, which are separated by what's called the line of control, but both countries claim all of Kashmir. The attack in April happened in a place called Pahalgam, which is really popular with Indian tourists. Gunmen came out of a forest and shot and killed 26 people.
The terrorist attack that triggered this crisis was particularly brutal and particularly egregious in the sense that it targeted civilians who were identified based on their religion, and it really hit hard across India, and the level of anger was especially strong.
So here's where you need to know a bit more about Kashmir and its history. India and Pakistan have basically been fighting over this territory ever since the partition of India, when Pakistan was created as a separate country. They fought a war over it in 1947, and that ended with a ceasefire and a division of the territory. Now, on the Indian side, there's been long-running opposition to Indian control. Many Kashmiris say their rights are being trampled on by the Indian government, and they want more autonomy. Some want independence. And over the years, armed groups have been fighting against what they say is an occupation. India has often accused Pakistan of supporting these groups, and that's what happened after the Pahalgam attack. India said the gunmen were linked to Pakistan. And 2 weeks later, it launched the missile strikes as a response.
India exercised its right to respond and preempt, as well as deter more such cross-border attacks.
India says it hit 9 sites in both Pakistan-administered Kashmir and in Pakistan's Punjab province.
They say that these targets were chosen based on credible intelligence inputs and that these were terror camps where attacks against India had been planned and directed from.
Now, Pakistan has denied having anything to do with the Pahalgam attack. It says India's missile strikes killed at least 31 civilians and injured dozens. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the strikes were unprovoked, cowardly, and an unlawful act of war. Both sides have also exchanged fire across the line of control. Pakistani fire killed at least 13 civilians in Indian-administered Kashmir, according to Indian officials. Meanwhile, Pakistan has vowed an even bigger response.
At a time, place, and means of our own choice.
Now, some of the details of what's happened so far are disputed or not very clear. For example, Pakistan has said it shot down 5 Indian Air Force jets, although India has given no official response to that. So to some extent, you've also got a war of words going on, and there's a lot of rhetoric on both sides. The big question right now is what could come next?
Much depends on how Pakistan will choose to react. A war, a heightened conflict and escalation is in the interests of neither of these two states. And also, it's the people in the region, the Kashmiris, who are not being served by any of this.
Jerusalem's fire chief says these might be the largest wildfires the country has ever seen. Drivers in Israel faced flames blowing across this highway on Wednesday. Some were forced to leave their vehicles and flee on foot as authorities closed Route 1, which connects Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
The people just ran outside and ran for their life. See this car, see what happened.
Authorities said the fire is active on multiple fronts, including as close as just 15 miles west of Jerusalem. At least 6 communities have been evacuated and several people are being treated at hospitals due to the fire. More than 100 teams are now working to extinguish the flames, and Israel asking for international assistance to fight the fire.
Reading out of the book of Exodus, chapter 15. And I'm going to read verse 2 on down. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. Verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts had he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. Koholo Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Ruha Rakah Kudash. Double honors to the mighty men the elders and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. This your buddy Yalsop coming at you with another video. And just based on the accounts, the world is at war. Okay? You already had the fall off with Israel, Palestine. You had a lot of chaos. You have this ongoing chaos with China, Taiwan, all those threats. We've been getting that for quite some time. You even had the military guy being assisted by Russia. Okay, you had the young kid, I believe his last name is Fossil. You have that going on, right? You still have Russia, Ukraine, okay? You still have that saga that hadn't truly concluded. Then there's India v. Pakistan. And you know what's crazy? There was no conversations. It was just shots fired, right? And the video post, okay, there's video post that shows there's been a back and forth. Pakistan, they did retaliate, and it's a back and forth. I'm certain a lot of you follow the lady on First. She's doing a huge walkthrough of what's going on. She's going viral every day. We talking 22,000 plus views because India, they're in, I guess, a state of emergency. Okay, no businesses are open. A lot of their airports are closed. A lot of war drills going on out there. I don't know if they declared martial law, but they're in war. How do you say it? They're in preparation for war, and it is a back and forth going on right now between India and Pakistan. Excuse me. Okay, I had got this notification 1 hour ago. It's 12:17 a.m. So this was 11 p.m. Eastern time. End time headlines reported. It says Pakistan warns of nuclear war with India. Okay, those rumors of war, excuse me. But that war has begun. And it's got the attention. When you've got the video post, it's got the attention of everybody, including the United States of America. Okay? Don't think for a second these elites don't have something to do with that back and forth. Okay, they're saying India is retaliating over the Mumbai attacks, and there was some other attacks that surfaced on the video post. But at the end of the day, the world is officially at war, okay? And this is all the judgment from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me see if I missed any notifications before I go in. Yeah, all my notifications is basically going into this war with India and Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan military says retaliatory strikes have been launched against India. And that's true. That's true. It is a back and forth right now. And the world's on edge. The Most High is judging this place, man. Okay? And he's going to continue to judge it. And America, America's on edge too. You got to remember this tariff war. I got some notifications now. Trump is trying to decrease the 145 to 80 because he's been losing that tariff war from day one. Let me see if I can find that notification. I'm going to bring out some scriptures and I'm going to end it. for Israelites in the knowledge of the truth, this is a good time to stay in the knowledge and don't walk away. Because the stage is really being set, okay? The stage is really being set for that Revelation 17 to be made manifest and other prophetic more end-time prophecies to be made manifest, chiefly that Joel 3. I know a lot of us praying that happens. Okay, then you had this drama. They celebrated some newly elected pope. You had millions of people, I'm going to say thousands of people, cheering and applauding while the world's at war. And that's not a jab at your so-called Vatican City and Christianity. He was elected, and while he's elected, the world's at war. To prove that's Antichrist in its essence. Okay? That entire umbrella of wickedness. That's all Antichrist, and he ain't doing a damn thing. Once Christ show up, all that's going to get shut down. Okay? So, your newly elected Pope, okay, Leo, whatever the hell his name is, Pope Leo, that's all a waste of time. He's not doing a damn thing, okay? Let me see if I can get that. We're going to get some scriptures, and I'm going to wind this video down. Probably get the classics and second measures. Might start at the 9th chapter, because we definitely living in those times. Yeah, this drama. The airports, chiefly Newark International. End time reports outage strikes Newark Airport, making second incident in 2 weeks. They've been having, this issue with traffic control. They've been losing some type of power. I believe it's a hack. Okay. The planes, it's kind of scary up there right now. It's a lot of drama with jets trying to land because there's been issues with traffic control. I think it's a cover. I believe the United States airports are being hacked at a high level. And all this is the Lord breaking down the United States of America. Okay? It's just judgment, and God's going to continue to break America down as he broke down ancient Egypt until America is completely judged. Let's see if there's any more. It's a lot of violence. I hadn't been posting it on my podcast. There's gangs in New York City, Midtown, that's literally attacking law enforcement.
For more teenagers connected to a Times Square attack on officers. We know that several have already been arrested, but now we're finding out the young alleged gang members are connected to dozens of other crimes, according to police. News 4's Mark Santia live in Times Square tonight with some of the new details, Mark.
Natalie, the gang surrounded a mom who is trying to protect her child. When police ran over to intervene, we're told the gang turned their anger on the cops. It's the Times Square attack that has New York City leaders disgusted.
This was a targeted attack, planned, deliberate, and carried out with intent, and it will not be tolerated.
The NYPD looking for 3 gang members wanted for attacking their officers. Surveillance video obtained by News 4 shows a group of teens whipping a basketball, scooter, umbrella, and bottles at 2 police officers who tried to stop them from attacking a mom and child near 42nd and 8th.
When someone openly assaults a police officer, you are attacking our symbol of safety.
Police say the group is an extension of Tren de Aragua, a transnational gang linked to more than 20 robberies in Central Park, Times Square, and in the subway system.
Make no mistake, this is not low-level crime. It's organized violence carried out by gang members that we've already taken off the streets for preying on New Yorkers.
Law enforcement sources tell News 4 37 gang members from the group have been arrested more than 240 times, and because they're juveniles, they end up right back out on the street.
It's not a fluke. It's a system failure. It's what happens when repeat offenders are allowed to cycle through arrest after arrest.
Criminality has to have consequence, right? And if it doesn't, it actually encourages more criminality.
NYPD Assistant Chief Jason Savino pointing out some of the group seen here celebrating while under arrest for the most recent Times Square attack on cops.
Those individuals, instead of showing remorse while they're cuffed in jail, decide to take a selfie throwing up gang signs.
While the ages of those suspected in the cops' attack range from 12 to 18 years old, the mayor says
people who prey on innocent people must be held accountable. They must be brought to justice.
5 teenagers have been arrested for attacking the officers here in Times Square. Police are still, right now, looking for 3 more. The officers who are injured here were told they suffered minor injuries and will be okay. We're live in Times Square. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Okay. So we're in that time. This is Genesis 6 all over again. And we know during that time, the flood came. But in this time, like the 5 cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, America's going to go down in that same fashion. Okay? Let's get some scriptures. And I'm on in this video. Shalom to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. We're in a time of war. Okay? This video is probably going to be called World at War. Okay? That the Israelis, they're in a state of emergency. Mind you, they have that war, but they're dealing with wildfires that they can't even contain. And that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob judging them. Okay? We know for the controversy of that land. Okay? Let's get some scriptures. Let's wind it down. Yeah, we're going to get the classic. We're going to start at 2 Ezra 9 and 1 from the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. From the top. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and we're seeing that at a high level. Okay, we're seeing that at a very high level, especially with everything happening right now. Let's read on. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, and we're seeing that end manifest. We're seeing that end manifest. Okay? It's been winding down, and I don't want to forget this. I've been telling y'all lately. Okay? I've been telling y'all lately in my videos, America is getting closer and closer to 250. And if y'all have been paying attention, y'all notice as the months are going by now, we are in the middle of this year already, okay? Almost. Y'all see the calamities of the earth only escalating? Y'all notice it's only getting worse every day? I hope y'all paying close attention to what the God Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is doing. He's making his presence felt, and it's winding down right in front of us. Remember, the elite's agenda has always been to depopulate. War is a way to depopulate. And in this case, they don't even care about a nuclear war because they're only looking at the money. They don't care about the people at the bottom. But with this particular war, they're going to be met with the surprise of a lifetime when Hamashiach Yahushua get between this fight. That's 2nd Ezra 13th chapter. That's what's going to happen. And the elect's going to be delivered out of nuclear war because that's what's ultimately coming. Let's read on. Okay. We're going to jump down to verse Actually, we're going to keep reading down. Okay? Give me a second. 2nd Ezra 9 and verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, where ye have believed. Okay. We're going to jump down to verse 9. So you have to have faith, works, and you have to believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay. Jump down to verse 9. It says, Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. That's going into the judgment. You can link that with Zechariah 13 and 8, because you got these bug outs on brothers' videos talking about why they'll never be the Israelites, they'll never accept the doctrine. Okay. Everything to stay a Babylonian. Okay, 2 parts of our people is going to be destroyed in these last days. That's what's going to happen to them. They're going to be judged. They're going to go down with Babylon the Great. Okay? That's Revelation 18 chapter. The Lord tells us to come out of the ways of the United States of America. Because don't think for a second America is not in on that back and forth. And China, okay, I advise y'all to watch First Post. She's breaking it down piece by piece, the narrative, and, you know, China's role with Pakistan. China's playing a big role in that. So check this out. We're going to read on. China's trying to do a trade deal. No, America, trying to cut a trade deal with China while China's funding that war right now. Make that make sense. You don't think the West don't know? They're going to, pretend they don't know what's going on? I'll let y'all figure that out. Let's read on. 2nd Ezra's, I'm going to read this again. 2nd Ezra's 9 and verse 11 from the top. And they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. That's going into these Christians, okay? All these groups out there against the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. They're going to be judged with America. Let's get 2nd Ezra's. Let's get the classic. Let's go to 2nd Ezra's, the 8th chapter, and I want verse 1. This is what's about to happen. Okay? Don't think for a second America won't be judged. America's about to get it in the worst way imaginable. Okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 1 from the top. And it reads, And he answered me, saying, The Most High made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell thee similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. That's literally talking about, you know, the world we're in right now. Okay? Verse 3 is the point. There be many created, but few shall be saved. Okay? That few is dealing with the remnant. Zechariah 13:9. That few is the elect and the elect government of Israel. That's the few that's getting out. America, I'm going to tell you something. America knows what's going on quietly. Again, think about it. Trump's trying to cut a trade deal with China while China's funding Pakistan weapons with that war with India and Pakistan. Gotta just let that sink in. War, you know, when you go into war, the politics, the geopolitics of war, that's money. And the depopulation has always been an elite agenda. If you guys remember during C-19, they blew up the copper stones. The Georgia Guidestone, is it not the copper stone, but the Georgia Guidestones were hit with TNT because the people seen that, you know, these elites the entire time were plotting to destroy as many people as they can. And they still do it by the processed food, GMOs, all the pesticides and the poison that's on the damn food shelves. That's why the Lord had that famine hitting grocery stores where these shelves are empty. And most of that stuff is unhealthy anyways. Okay? So it's karma what's happening. Now we have this position, right, where the entire world is at war. Clap up for the Most High, man. Okay? Because the elect's going to get saved out of this. And those that hate this truth, the teaching of the Israelites, okay, if you hate this and you're against this, you can stay a Babylonian. And, you know, you look at the videos, you look at what's posted, they showing you, okay, they showing you how it looks when missiles are firing, back and forth. For America, it's going to be different type of missiles coming. And it ain't going to be no back and forth. Them ICBMs going to come this way, and that's going to be the end of this place. Okay? Brothers were going online showing how the rich purchasing bunkers, how you could buy bunkers. That's not for poor people. We can't afford that. That's why it's important to be in the truth, because once you learn the knowledge of the truth and you're the diaspora, we have hope. Okay? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that delivered our foreparents from the ancient Egyptians, he's about to deliver us. Okay? That's what's setting up. And for those that's against this, they can stay here, watch baseball or basketball and all the Babylonian foolishness out there and get hit with a missile. That's what's going to happen. Okay, the Lord tell you in 1 hour, this place is going to go. That's Revelation, the 18th chapter. This place is going to get wiped out. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Let's go to Isaiah 13 real quick. I want to show y'all something real quick. It's very serious. This is a serious time. Okay. I mean, if you're going through hardships, you know, hard times, you know, you do have to endure while we wait, but try not to get too jammed up in this life, because the world is at war. Okay. Let's read Isaiah 13. And I'm going to go all the way down to 19. This is the point. In Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, okay? And that's not talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon is still inhabited, okay? That's talking about Babylon the Great. That's talking about America. The world is at war, okay? The world is at war, and the calamities are only getting worse. Let's go up to verse 13. It says, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place in the wrath of the Most High of hosts, and in the day of his furious anger. And we're seeing the spirit of the Most High throughout this earth. You can't get around it. Okay? The Most High is visiting this earth. Okay? He's visiting this earth. There's violence throughout every major city. Now there's world war. Excuse me. There is world war on this planet Earth right now. Okay? This is a very serious time that we're in. And it's going to get worse. Okay, the days of Jacob's trouble will escalate. Right? Let's get let's go back to the Apocrypha. Let's get 2nd Esdras. I want 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 2nd Esdras 15:11, and it reads, but I will bring them again with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that God shall bring upon it. Okay? They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And we seeing that, man. We seeing that at a high level. Like I said, yeah, tariff war, Russia, Iran. Okay. You have the military brother, he's just wreaking havoc on the West and France. You got that build up. Okay. You had the Israelis, Palestine. I keep jacking that word up. You had the Israelis fighting, Palestine, Hamas. You had that going on. And now you have, India, Pakistan. And there was no conversations. They just started fighting. Just like that. And got the whole world attention in a matter of seconds. The Lord is breaking this place down, family. And we emphatically living in the very last days. We are living in the end of this world, okay? And we have to stay firm in this truth. Okay, let's get a few more scriptures. And I'm gonna put it into this video. Let's get 2nd Esdras 16. Second Esdras 16 and verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. That's going into that nuclear destruction. It's a world war. This is World War III. okay? And it could be escalating. Pakistan just went viral saying they're going to start a nuclear war. We're going to see. Okay? And keep in mind that back and forth with the Israelis and Hamas, that drama going on. Israel have nuclear warheads as well. And some experts fear their prime minister might shoot his as well. Remember, whoever shoots first, a domino effect will follow. And that'll usher in the exodus of the 12 tribes. Okay? 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 22. This is judgment. 2nd Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay? Because once some things begin to fire off, it's going to be a lot of casualties on this earth. Okay? We're going to go all the way to verse 37. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 37. It reads, Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Okay? Slack. That was verse 37. Let me read that from the top. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. We're going to go down to 39. Jump down to 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that at a high level. And the world is feeling it, man. But it's the wrath of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob judging this earth for wickedness, man. Okay? He's judging this place. The final judgment's going to be that fire. Okay? And the coming of the Lord, you read that in Isaiah, I believe that's the 34th chapter. It's going to be a lot of killing in that day. Right? We're going to read verse 40. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Okay? And that's turning literal. Okay? Especially for Israelites in these war-torn places. Remember, wherever humanity dwells, or wherever the nations are, Israel's in the midst of those nations, man. Okay? Remember, the Israelites were scattered to the four corners of the earth. Okay? But when this trumpet sound, let's get that. Because I don't want to make it look like it's just a horrific outcome right now and there's no coming deliverance. That's not true. Hamashiach Yahushua is going to save his people. Let's get that. Let's get that real quick. Let's read 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16 reads, For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. That's gonna be it. Okay, that's gonna be the judgment. That's gonna be the start of the great judgment right there. Because once that trumpet sound, the elect's gonna be saved in that moment, right then and there. Once Christ is risen, okay, he's really gonna come, with the host of heaven. That's when this thing gonna pop off. That's when these other mega prophecies gonna pan out. I'm gonna read this again. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Okay, that's a link up with Revelation 11. When the Most High say, come up hither. Because at this time, you're going to have missiles flying everywhere. World War III is here. This world is officially at war. Okay, so these are the end of days. We here. Okay. Verse 18 says, wherefore comfort one another with these words. Okay. Let's see if there's any more before I end this video. Let's get, I'm gonna end it here. We're gonna end it with the classic. Let's get that gathering. I want it out of Zephaniah though. One moment. We're going to read the book of, I believe it's Zephaniah 2. Let me see. We're going to end it here. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together, yet gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, Yahushai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom, family.